Okay. So, this is the 4 out of 4 movies I've done this weekend.
Congratulations.
I made it through this really crappy movie weekend. And we kind of had to end the worst of the worst, at least for this weekend, which is
Well, I haven't
After
seen the
Earth.
rest of the films, but
After
I
Earth.
can't imagine.
This was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm not as angry as I thought I was going to be.
No, same here. I was
I was
I
expecting...
guess I was pleasantly surprised, I guess.
Well, pleasantly surprised, and I'm not fuming right now.
Yeah.
More, I'm
I
just
expected
really
a lot
bored.
worse.
I'm just really bored and just really uninterested
Yeah,
in anything that's remotely going on.
the on-off button on my iPhone here doesn't work, so I just put this on vibrate. And just occasionally I hear just, I'm like, I really want to check what this is, because this is probably more seen than the movie.
I mean, this is more boring than Great Gatsby. Great Gatsby was horribly boring.
Well, yeah, it's Great Gatsby. That was a boring-ass book.
You know, not as boring as Moby Dick, but which is also references.
Bullshit. Moby Dick's amazing.
Moby Dick's a shitty book, man.
Fuck you.
There's a whole chapter on the color white, man. Don't think I forget that shit. I'm so mad at my English teacher for making me read that.
What?
That may seem irrelevant, but it's mentioned several times in the movie, so...
For what reason? That books no longer exist, and it's special that they have a book. Oh, and then they show whales at the end when everything's better.
That's why I'm convinced. I have 2 theories of what this movie is. A, it's either a sequel to The Happening, which would probably make more sense, or it's a sequel to Star Trek 4. Either way, something is interesting environment, the Earth got tired of our shit, and just basically kicked us out. That's basically what
So, one thing I don't get is, was it humans? Just the way the Earth goes, just natural selection, the way the Earth changes on its own, or aliens that fucked over the Earth? Because I can't tell, because they give...
I think it's M. Night Shyamalan who fucked over the Earth in this case. Because we actually looked this up before the movie started on Wikipedia. Apparently, this is a story originally written by Will Smith.
Yes, Will Smith came up with... Well, he kind of came up with the story.
He came with the template, and then somebody took it, probably Shyamalan, and decided, no, this needs to be sci-fi. Because we're just supposed to be like a father and son who get lost in the mountain. Which, you know what? For Will Smith, that would have worked well in his favor.
They go on like a bonding trip. They fall off the side of a mountain in their car, and then
They have to survive, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that would have been good. Like, Will Smith could have easily pulled that off.
Yeah, it would have been probably more generic than this, but
This wasn't generic. Come on, man.
This movie's very generic.
This is just generic as sci-fi fucking gets. They don't even try to emote anything. Like, Will Smith's son has the same constipated look on his face for the whole hour and a half of the movie. He looks the entire time just like this. Oh no, I take back some of that mouth open, kind of like duck face with a...
Yeah. What is it? He kind of had the same thing in Karate Kid, too.
I didn't see Karate Kid,
Okay,
but
he was much younger by a couple of years.
it's gotta be, you had to have better performance than this.
Actually, I'm going to say I liked the Smith Karate Kid.
I actually heard it wasn't bad.
It wasn't. It was
Yeah.
pretty good.
So it's either way, it's gotta be
It was good as remakes of 80s films that were bad in their own right. Can be.
Fair enough. Now I'm just pissed off all the Karate Kid fans.
Oh, come on. That movie's cheesy as hell.
I'm sure. I know. I agree.
that's probably
I agree with you.
That's
but
probably why people like it, but...
it's okay. I get enough hate for Anchorman and Red Riding Hood. I could take a little more. Thank you for those loving comments for Anchorman, by the way. They touch my heart so much with words like, go... This is a real one, by the way. Find Jesus, you potty mouth. That's a real one. That one took my breath away when I saw that. Anyway.
So
where do you even start with this piece of shit?
So it kind of just... Basically, through, I guess, a combination of the Earth just being tired of our shits and just climate change...
Oh, I know how to start off with this movie. Basically, from the first moment we hear a voice... I immediately hated this character.
Oh, yes. Where Jane Smith falls over in his Tron cosplay.
Yeah. Which, why was that necessary? There was no call for a flashback for a scene that was going to happen 20 minutes later. It's like, like in
It was more like an hour later. Well, it probably was 20
It felt
minutes.
like an hour later.
This movie was 100 minutes long. It felt twice as long.
I wish... I'm going to start, counting every time I have to say that for movie now, because I feel like I've said it since January. But Jesus Christ. It's like, and then they're doing some bizarre accent, and I can't identify it for the life of me. It's like if Western got mixed with Chinese, almost. I don't know what the hell they're trying to do. It sounds really bizarre, and it sounds
whose accent?
everyone's accent. They all kind of had that kind of accent. It sounds slightly southern, but not really.
That's slightly southwestern.
Yeah, it just really odd and off-putting and unnecessary and stupid.
I thought it was mostly the Smith characters.
I didn't hear Will Smith do it too much. It was more his son that was really.
No, his son had it. I mean, maybe that's just the way he talks.
I hope not. Well, it was that poor child.
There was that one guy with the horrible Scottish accent.
Oh yeah, I kind of nicknamed him Scotty while I was watching the movie.
His uniform looks just like Scotty's in the new Star Trek
He's got the
films.
blonde hair and everything, and you got like Shyamalan in the co-pilot seat. It's like, this is like Star Trek movie I would watch with Shyamalan as Captain Kirk.
If he's not,
the guy is Scotty.
what if that's not Shyamalan and we're all just horribly racist?
I'm gonna IMDb it later. Watch it. Come to make an apology later. It's like, I realized what I said was kind of offensive, and I'd like to say
I have
sorry.
said worse things. Needless to say,
Asperger's as fuck comes to mind.
this is better than the last movie from black people that I saw.
Yes, Temptation.
Temptation.
I still have nightmares about that one. Oh, good God. But yeah, what a movie is basically about is it's a sequel to The Happening, I'm assuming.
I don't see Shyamalan in that.
Well, now I feel like a racist. Well, is that seriously all the people that said in the movie?
Probably just major characters.
Yeah, like the Navigator. Sure, he was really important.
Well, yeah, he was the guy who told Will Smith, "Hey, you're gonna fucking kill us," and Will Smith's like, "No, I'm not."
And that's the thing about this. The whole thing about the movie is that they go to this alien world. Did they even say where it was? Like what the planet was called? I don't even remember.
They did. I don't remember it.
Okay.
But it showed up on the little Law and Order thing.
Yeah.
Where it said the time, date, and everything. But they did have a new human settlement on a
On a distant planet. Basically,
Nova system or something. Nova something.
we basically pull a Christopher Columbus and go on a foreign planet where the natives are not very pleased that we're there and send like evil things that smell fear to try to kill us all, because apparently it's the only way they can really go out there, which goes the whole theme of the movie, which is overcoming fear with the dumbest bullshit slogan I've ever heard.
That's a fine enough moral and shit.
It is a good moral, but it's poorly executed. It is so poorly executed. It's baffling.
It makes no sense.
It does make no fucking sense. Like the whole thing, like tagline for the fucking movie has been pissing me off for months, which is like fear is a choice. Like, no, it fucking
danger's
isn't.
real, fear is a choice.
It's like fucking bullshit.
Irrational fears exist in every human, and it's just some things that people just don't get over.
It's a goddamn reflex. You need fear. Why? Because it heightens your fucking senses. It gets your adrenaline pumping. It's called survival instinct.
It gets you killed by the Doom 3 monsters.
I don't play Doom 3, so I don't know about. I'm sure I got that.
It looks just like one of the monsters from Doom 3. I don't remember what it's called.
I just like the first thing that pops up that scares the crap out of them when they land on Earth is a fucking spider. It's gonna show no matter how big the rest of the monster, a little tiny spider is still gonna scare the living crap out of you.
It's like, well, he's fucked.
Just goes to show it's like fear is a choice. Unless spiders are involved. Then by all means be scared of the fucking spider.
So, what was the scientific jarbled reason they gave us for crash landing on Earth? It's like some ion storm asteroid belt or something?
It was like an asteroid storm or some bullshit. Which the camera did this really odd thing where you see him jumping into light space, but the camera stays focused on Will Smith looking blankly at the warp space, and it's like, no, I want to see the sparkly thing.
Yeah.
Can we go see somewhere?
Well, anyway, whatever happens, they end up crash landing on Earth for some reason.
By astonishing coincidence, they end up crashing on Earth, which is a quarantine one planet. Everything on this planet has been designed to kill humans.
No. Alright. That's not how evolution works. Okay. So, over the course of 1,000 years, everything on Earth has evolved to kill humans. Humans have not been on Earth for over 1,000 years. Humans would have had to been there for whenever one creature got the genetic mutation that made them the better survivor in killing humans and getting food and whatever. Humans were not there, like... I learned this shit back in, like, 5th grade. This is how evolution works.
I'm still convinced that this movie is secretly a sequel to Star Trek 4. I still stand by that theory. Because think about it. At the end of Star Trek 4, they reintroduce an endangered species that's been gone for like centuries into a planet that is no longer sustainable for them. Therefore, those animals need to evolve to survive in that particular world, and therefore learn to kill the prime species, which is probably humans. Now that survival instinct probably kicks into other species, and eventually just turn around and all shit-face on humans, and they had to leave. That's my theory anyway. It makes sense if you think about it. Just saying.
So how's the sequel to The Happening? M. Night Shyamalan's other great masterpiece. So we're going to talk about him later.
Oh yeah. Let's think about, well, first off, the trees evolved to kill humans, so naturally everything else must slowly start to...
Wait, when did the trees evolve?
Or isn't the whole thing like, but the happening is like the plants try to kill people by releasing a pheromone or something like that?
Maybe this part just went over my head. I don't remember this part.
I'm pretty sure, wasn't that like the big twist in the movie?
Oh, for The Happening! No, I'm talking about in After Earth.
Oh yeah, well it's like, technically it's kind of a sequel to The Happening if you think about the plants evolved to kill all humans, so therefore...
Oh, okay.
Animals quickly follow suit. So, again, it makes sense. Pick your theory. Go crazy with it. You can have fun.
Shyamalan. I'm going to go off on the record.
On camera.
I don't really hate him. I mean, like, no, I hate his movies, whatever, but he's just like, no, okay.
Like, I don't give a fuck what you think of.
Yeah, it's like, okay, no, Sixth Sense sucked. Alright, I don't care what anybody says. Sixth Sense had the worst fucking twist of any Shyamalan film.
That's a strong statement.
Worse than The Village.
Wow. Are you serious?
The Village was...
Are you seriously gonna say worse than the twist in The Happening? The plants are killing people? Oh no!
Those were at least, like, different ideas. Well, The Village, not so much. I'm pretty sure I've read that before.
Like, what's that Robot Chicken sketch where they...
Terribly executed. Like, honestly, the more I think about it, the Shyamalan twist doesn't even happen in all of his films, but it is why he's famous. Like...
Probably for The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, which... I actually really like Unbreakable. I think Unbreakable is pretty good.
I know it's I heard a lot of people call it, like, a very underrated movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a masterpiece. Well, it's Shyamalan's masterpiece. Give that.
That's sad.
Give or take. But, you know, for everything about the making of it, it should have been a terrible film, but it ended up being something that was definitely worth seeing. And I would recommend go seeing it. I actually would. I don't recommend anything else by Shyamalan unless you really want to test your patience.
Like, for example, here.
Yeah.
At least it's not the Airbender, we can say that much.
Oh, so, what did we read about this? A month after The Last Airbender came out, Will Smith called Shyamalan, wished him a happy birthday, and persuaded him to make this film. And Shyamalan thought it was a great idea. After Airbender, anything's a great idea. Yeah. The best idea would be to not make films anymore, but unfortunately...
So he takes this movie about two people going in a mountain and says, no, we need the fucking Doom 3 monster in there, so let's make his goddamn sci-fi. Oh, by the way, the whole... I couldn't stop thinking of Danny Phantom when I heard this. They kept referring to, like, No Fear thing as ghosting.
Well, Shyamalan used to work for Nickelodeon.
That explains everything.
Dude, no, The Sixth Sense? He wrote The Sixth Sense as a script for Are You Afraid of the Dark, and it got rejected. You cannot make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. And then,
I believe you, that's a sad thing.
And of course, he loved Avatar. The Last Airbender, not to be confused with James Cameron's masterpiece, Avatar.
Please tell me you're kidding.
Oh, of course. Why are you asking this?
You have a very dry sense of sarcasm, so it's kind of hard to tell sometimes.
Fair enough. Avatar was shit.
Yeah.
Not as bad as Last Airbender.
Oh god, no, Lobotomy's better than The Last Airbender. You probably want one after they see it, but...
Oh.
But anyway, and then they went to go scouting for the movie. Scouting!
They scouted in Costa Rica, and it's like...
In this very fancy hotel and spa.
Gigantic, spa that's like a thermal spa.
Yeah, so it's like, so clearly that's a place to shoot.
That's probably where he got the ideas for all the thermal vents that he had to say at. Pretty much, this entire movie was just like, let's go to Costa Rica and get a fucking write-off for it.
It's just fucking boring. That's what it is. Like, Like, Will Smith, say what you will about him, he is still one charming son of a bitch.
No, he is.
He is definitely charming.
He's the Fresh Prince.
Exactly, he's the Fresh Prince. Like, every movie you've seen at this point, he's still charming somewhat, it's partially in I Am Legend. But here he is just beyond dull, beyond boring. Just, there is not anything.
It's to show that he's that no-nonsense military father.
And he fails at it by just being completely uninteresting every aspect of the word.
And they show like he doesn't have fear. But it's like, just because he doesn't have fear doesn't mean he doesn't have love. He was like, I love you, wife. I love you.
You thought that too! I thought that same fucking thing from Lost... What's the movie called? Lost Planet?
Lost Planet?
No.
Lost Planet's the Capcom game series.
Oh, fuck. What am I thinking of then?
PTX 408, Tetsunoka vs. Capcom. Alright.
Not Lost Planet. What's that that stupid movie with Gary Oldman that's the villain? You know, I Love You, Wife. Where's that from? Okay.
Alright. Moving on.
I'm trying to remember. It's gonna bug me now. It's like some really crappy movie that had Joey from Friends and Gary Oldman as the villain. Do you not remember this? Okay. Danger Will Robinson?
Oh, Lost in Space!
That was it! Okay. I
never saw that movie.
I unfortunately did. And that was actually the line from the movie where they hug and they go, I love you, wife. Just like in that boring, monotone way. So that's what I thought you were referring to, but apparently I might go all over the place. Obviously, I'm trying to think of better things than what we're talking about right now.
I can imagine a super hardcore action remake of a cheesy 60s family science fiction show is better than After Earth.
It probably was. That's the sad thing. At least that one had Gary Oldman as some really weird spider thing, which is kind of entertaining in and of itself. Seriously, go look it up.
Okay.
What are you even like? So they land on.
Think of anything.
They land on Earth, and basically Will Smith breaks both of his legs conveniently, which means he can't do shit through this movie. And he sends the little kid out to do it, who's got rejected for being a ranger for being too arrogant. Which, like, who fucking?
Well, wasn't that he was too arrogant? Is that he was better like in theory than practice? Like, oh, he knows all this stuff, but once he gets out there, he's too afraid.
Yeah, or just acts like an idiot by charging ahead of everyone for no apparent reason.
God, what? Honestly, after the first time, where Will Smith gives him an order to just leave the monkeys alone.
Yeah.
And then he throws a rock at it, it's like, you fucking idiot.
I know, I was like, after a certain point, you deserve to die.
Any CO would have pulled you out of there, and you probably would have gotten... You would have gotten hella trouble for that.
Like, I was rooting for this kid to die pretty much from frame one. Like, I instantly hated this character. Because he's annoying as shit. He's got a bizarre as fuck accent. He does the dumbest things you could possibly think to do. And yet he's the hero. And let's talk about the incredibly awkward flashbacks.
Like, so as we all know, flashbacks are my favorite form of storytelling. It's right up there with voiceover. It's amazing that this film. It's amazing when this film had Let's call them flashovers. Flashbacks with voiceover. They were something we see like 30 minutes later.
Yeah. What the fuck was the point of that?
It's like they wanted to start with the action, but they also wanted to keep us with some surprise about how did this happen. But
you don't care because you don't know him. The first point where he talks, they give this exposition.
When people do this in screenwriting, this is something I've always been taught. This is just my couple of professors. A very lazy way to write.
Yeah. To
get people interested in your character. When they're in trouble and you're like, oh, what's this person? How'd you get here? Blah, 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 blah. Why don't we show you, audience?
and it all turns out he's poisoned by a fucking leech. That's the big anticlimactic way in his fucking Tron suit.
No, because his Tron suit was blue. This is when he was freezing.
Was that when he was freezing?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was when the leech thing. But, well, clearly I wasn't paying close enough attention to really give a crap.
Well, I just remembered because... first time you see him, his
suit changes color depending on what environment he's in, pretty much.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool effect, I guess.
Yeah, it was nifty enough.
I will say this film had pretty cool costume design.
The sword was cool. I'll give it that much.
Yeah.
Like it changed shape and shit. I would love that. Granted, it would have been much more convenient. You had a thing called a gun, but
why do they have these? It's like take my cutlass. Why are you bringing a knife? to an intergalactic war.
Or a whole planet trying to kill you kind of thing. Basically like a global Australia.
You know, like a flare gun?
Yeah.
That would have helped. They have computers that can... Omnipresent computers that can tell you anything at any time. It's like...
But they can't put turrets on them. Apparently.
You can't get this little thing that's like... Even if it's just like... Okay, son, you have 4 shots. It's like...
Because he has... What happens in the movies, like, every, 24 hours, he has to take, like, this air shot.
Yeah, over
thing.
1,000 years, the atmosphere on Earth has changed. That humans can't breathe there anywhere near as well.
So
basically, he's almost suffocating if he doesn't.
And then, what happens in the movies, randomly, and I do mean randomly, we get flashbacks of, Will Smith's daughter and how, his son saw her get killed by one of the evil, blind, fear-hunting things.
Ursas?
Ursa, yeah, that's what they're called. And it's it keeps popping this frequently and annoyingly. Just, there's no consistent basis for it. It's boom, there's that.
Well, it's to show why he needs to stand up and be a man and not be afraid. Well, it's you were 10. Yeah. There's no shame, dude.
No, and then there's the part, halfway through the movie, when he gets to the cliff and Will Smith finds out that he accidentally broke 2 out of the 4 air bubble things that he needs to survive. And is abort, you need to come back, don't fly off the cliff, because he's at a waterfall. And then out of nowhere he goes, you let her die!
What I love is that the fucking omnipresent computer says, if he scales down the mountain, it'll take him 3 days to get to the other half of the ship. Or if he air jumps, it'll take him 1.5 days. It's would that really save that much? And if not, why weren't they just flying from the fucking beginning? Yeah. And he just fucking jumps off the cliff, and he does this, and he becomes a flying squirrel. And it's what the fuck is this? Where did this come from?
I'm suddenly thinking of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Fuck you, I'm Batman.
And then the fucking condor comes out of nowhere.
Oh, that weird fucking mini plot line. And what happened?
Honestly, I probably cared more about that just because I like animals more. It's why did the bird have to die and you have to live? Why did the bird
save him at all?
Give his own life.
Sacrifice himself for this. It just... And another bizarre camera choice. There's so many bizarre fucking camera choices in this movie. There's a part where...
Shyamalan.
Yeah, that's just... Yeah, I got nothing to say to that. But, in the very beginning, it turns out they have an Ursa on board the ship with them. Because for its very basic, drop off the scouts kind of mission until they crash land on Earth. But they bring an Ursa to test people with ghosting. So I can only assume they're training Danny Phantom.
Oh, do we explain that?
Ghosting?
Yeah.
I think I brought it up. That's basically when you feel no fear and you become invisible to the Ursas.
Yeah, ghosting's when you control your fear and, you don't give off the adrenaline or the pheromones or anything, so the Ursas don't see you.
Yeah, that's...
Which is basically impossible. Physically...
you're still gonna have your adrenaline pumping.
Yeah. In our physiology, it's literally impossible.
Yeah, you can't just suppress that shit.
Yeah.
Not without some serious drugs. Which is possible.
And fucking Will Smith, while he's looking over his son, he's just getting high on painkillers the entire time.
That's actually not a lie. He does.
You just go back and Will Smith's just oh, watch out.
He progressively droops lower and lower, and he still talks that monotone voice, he has found you. Whatever the creator is good, give in to your
fear flow through you. Oh, shit. Why did I tell him that?
Will Smith as Darth Sidious for Star Wars 4.
Wasn't Will Smith already in the prequels?
No, that was
Mace
Sam
Windu?
That was Sam Jackson.
Really?
You racist bastard.
Alright.
Really? Please tell me you were kidding. You did not just confuse Will
kidding.
Smith with Sam Jackson.
I know it was Morgan Freeman.
You're gonna get us in trouble one day, man.
So...
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, we're talking about the condor. So he goes off with doing this rocking Bullwinkle routine, and he gets caught by a giant-ass fucking condor. It takes him back to the nest, and the little baby birds that are trying to peck at his skin away.
And they were adorable as hell.
Yeah, adorable little murdering monsters.
Yeah, so when these tigers came to the nest trying to get the birds, and then he saw oh hey, there's a guy, we can eat him instead. And then he tries to fight off the tigers, but all the baby birds die anyway, and I guess the condor is oh.
Well, you tried.
You tried.
So I'm going to save you when it goes freezing cold, because apparently at nighttime it goes freezing cold for no real logical evolutionary explanation.
Climate change. Global warming.
Yes, because mankind destroyed the Earth. evidently, which is what they explain in the opening monologue, which I kind of
I mean, well, we are. But not to this extent anytime soon.
Maybe not where we get giant fucking condors.
Maybe one day, but we're going to be dead long before that happens. So,
exactly. We're not our problem. That's a healthy attitude. Oddly enough, this is more pretentious about the environment than fucking Epic was.
I actually did not get that sort of an environmental message. I thought they use it as a jumping point, but then they really didn't touch upon it that much.
They don't touch much about anything, really. With that
is true, though. That is true.
Like, even with, like, the whole fear thing, they don't really touch much on it, or, like, what it means to overcome fear, what it means to, like, deal with fear. They just, like, oh, he's afraid. You shouldn't be afraid. Okay, I'm not afraid. That's pretty much the character arc right there. And it's like, and fear is a complex issue, and, like, if you really want to talk about it, really fucking talk about it. Because it can be fascinating.
There's so much that you can do just with the psychology behind what makes us afraid.
Exactly, and it's a fascinating topic. It's a fascinating psychological topic if you really explore it. But they don't really explore it.
If you're going to use flashbacks to explain why he's afraid, you could at least show the long-lasting effects or explanations of these effects. Like, if he's training to become, one of the Rangers, he's going to learn how to control his fear. Why didn't they show any of that training? They mentioned that's why they brought the Ursa, was to train other Rangers. Mm-hmm. But nothing of that ever shows. It would have been lazy flashback exposition.
But it would have been something.
Yeah.
It's like, even then, like,
something's better than nothing.
Even then, like, something like the war they have with, like, the aliens on the other planet. It's like, what about those aliens?
They never mentioned that again.
Yeah, like, there's just, there's bad guy aliens, even though we kind of stomped on their turf. So where's that argument?
It's like if the Native Americans could have actually fought back. That's what would have happened.
Much. Yeah, it's pretty much like, why can't we explore that a little bit? Like, why can't we see more of that? Like, maybe, or like, have they ever tried talking to each other? Like, what the hell? They're just like, oh, we're gonna kill each other, but we're humans, so we're naturally the good guys. America. Anyway, it's stuff like that. It's like, there are a lot of interesting ideas here, but they don't go beyond that.
That's kind of how I feel about Shyamalan in general.
Yeah, like, he introduces interesting ideas, but he just, the way he executes them are just so lazy and poorly handled that you don't care. And that's the big problem with this movie. It's like, there's stuff happening. It should be at least kind of interesting, but none of it is because you don't give a shit.
The action in this film was really on-off for me. Sometimes
there was one or two interesting moments, but nothing beyond, like, nothing like I'm gonna run home about.
Really Zack Schneidery. It kind of Zack Schneidery for me. I hate that.
So you're looking forward to Man of Steel then. We'll get to that topic.
Oh, we'll get to trailers later.
Yeah, even though I got literally all the same fucking trailers I did for earlier today.
Well, I didn't.
So we'll hear your spiel about it. It's like, fucking A. It's like, the more I talk about, the angrier I'm getting.
Would you think the film would have been better if he conquered his fear earlier and showed the rest of his journey? Because that could have shown some kind of maturity from there.
That actually probably would have been more interesting in all intents and purposes. Instead, he conquers at the very end when he's facing off the Ursa thing, because when he finally gets to the tail of the plane, he gets more air breathing things. He finds the beacon that he's looking for, because apparently the one over the home base is gone. So he finds it, but he needs to climb a goddamn fucking volcano.
The fucking planet from Revenge of the Sith, where it has the final showdown.
Which kind of made me laugh. It's like, I kind of saw it coming. It's like, there's this big giant ass fucking volcano in the background. I was like,
I wonder what they're going to do with that.
Yeah, it's like, kid, you're not going to be dumb enough to go up. Yeah, you're going to go up there. Okay, I hope you die. They don't even do anything with that. You just like the ash falling down, and that's it. It's like, you have lava, and you don't fucking do anything with it. Yeah. You lazy bastards. No, you have that weird monster spider thing fighting off, and it just really kind of stupid, and then he supposedly conquers fear, and then he gets really lazy-eyed.
What really ticks me off about that is after he conquers his fear, and then he goes back and sees Will Smith, he's like, I want to work with Mom.
I would too after all that shit.
Well, yeah, but like...
Yeah, you think he'd be changed at that point. Was that kind of the point? Yeah.
That's exactly the point, is that it just felt like really... It was just more of a change for convenience than an actual progression of character.
That's pretty much felt like for the whole movie. Will Smith probably had a better progression of character over the course of the movie.
No, he did.
But then it's his fucking kid.
He has to learn to trust his son, not just as a CO.
Yeah, and it's like, and oddly enough, that worked better, even though Will Smith of Torrance is really just dull.
He was sitting in a chair for over half the movie.
Yeah.
Like, he was just doing this, like, half the movie. Just like...
They're getting progressively sleepy. I think you represent the audience a little bit. It just... fuck. And then you have the weird thing like again with the Will Smith has his own flashback about his daughter and like how he has like his fucking mouse pad that works that has a screen on it.
The iPad.
Yeah. And then it's like the weird scene with the blowing out the candles and like he's on a ship with a bunch of guys. I kind of want him to go, honey, I don't want you to embarrass me in front of my friends.
I guess that was to show that Will Smith had a family in his own way that he cared, and the death of his family is what made him the person he was.
But he seemed that way before then, though, didn't
Exactly, which is why it didn't fucking work.
Yeah, so it's like that. It was pretty fucking pointless, just like a lot of the scenes that were just fucking pointless, where he was like, well, that added nothing. Thank you for that.
They mention his sister, well, Jaden's sister, Will Smith's daughter, dying. Yeah. And they have her come back in a dream, which...
What the fuck was that?
I don't even know.
Like 2/3 of the way through the movie, Jane, like Will Smith's son, like gets caught by the Condor, basically smashed all his communication technology with his dad, so he has to basically survive on his own. And he builds a makeshift raft surprisingly fast, and starts going down the river. He falls asleep, and then out of nowhere, like this girl just pops right up and kisses him on the cheek. I was like, is this like a sex dream or incest? I'm not sure.
I was like, wait, have people been on Earth? Like, is this going like the Swiss Family Robinson route or something?
Okay. And then you have weird things where like he starts reciting Moby Dick to his dead sister, and then her face transforms like a zombie
she
thing.
Keeps trying to tell him that
you need to get up. You need to wake up.
You need to get out of the bubble, because he was in that little like anti-fear bubble thing. That protected him from the Ursa.
We have a bubble, boy. Work out your fears in the bubble.
It's like, you need to come out. You need to come out. And I was just like... the entire time is like...
The immature jokes just pouring in like kryptonite.
It was like...
That
would have been a much better plot angle to go on than anything else they had in the movie.
Just says like... Just flying down like, Dad, I'm gay. What? I love you anyway, son.
I love you, son. You can't tell.
You can't tell because I'm not allowed to moke. Shyamalan doesn't give a shit. But
yeah.
Because even fucking Signs they were doing that crap was not even this fucking Shyamalan style. Just have like dead emotional characters in his movie. Like, I never liked Signs. I'm just gonna say right now.
No, Signs was terrible.
Like, Signs was a fucking terrible movie. And as a kid, I knew it was a fucking bad movie. Which is saying quite a lot, because I'd watch anything, just about anything at that age.
I honestly think the worst Shyamalan film is Lady in the Water.
I didn't see that one.
Oh my god.
Bad?
If you ever want to kill yourself...
Worse than Airbender?
Much worse than Airbender.
Wow, that's...
Watch Lady in the Water and you'll be like... Tonight's the night. Tonight's the night.
Just
I'm going to the Lord.
Just to
I'm gonna run the water.
Just be blissfully like.
Gonna run that bath water. Just gonna sit down. Gonna close my eyes and never wake up again.
Should I call somebody for you, Chris? Because that was an awfully vivid description. I'm slightly concerned.
Get it? Because it's in the water. Because the lady's in the water.
I got it. I'm just saying. It was still awfully specific. You're gonna be okay, buddy.
Well, I better be okay, because I have to be ready for Smurfs 2.
Hey, he volunteered. I'm just gonna point it out right now. So, at this point, it's off my hands.
I've lost control of my life.
Okay, Stu.
I can't believe you got that.
I actually saw that message you put on Facebook. The one time I was like, where have I heard that before? Oh my god, Rugrats! Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
Clearly we just don't want to fucking talk about this
I
movie.
really don't want... I'm done. To be honest, I'm done.
It was boring. I didn't give a shit. I'm not angriness per se. I just really, really didn't like it. That's about all I really can say about this movie.
Like, if this ever comes on Showtime or something at, 11 p.m. and you're just like, I just need some white noise to fall asleep to, this movie will put you to sleep.
Right up there with Great Gatsby. Minus the pop music. So... Which is in a 1920 movie for some reason. Anyway, so I guess let's move on to trailers then. So I think we're both pretty much done talking about this fucking movie.
Yeah. So what was first?
It was the same order I got earlier today. I've said all I have to say about this trailer, so this is mostly your show. What is the first one?
I really don't care. I didn't care about the books. I just don't care about zombies in general. They just don't interest me. It's not like a pop culture sub... Well, it was a subculture, not anymore. It was a counterculture, not anymore, really. And if... I mean, there's some stuff out there that's probably still good. I just don't care. I'm not going to go on my way to see it.
You don't like dogpiling zombies? Come on, man. It's the new craze. It's a PG-13 zombie movie.
Oh, man, that's going to be great.
Yeah, all the non-gore shit that you should go with the zombie movie for some reason isn't. Okay, the next one we got was Lone Ranger.
I like how Tonto has a billing over the Lone Ranger. It was like Green Hornet, because Green Hornet and Lone Ranger were made by the same guy.
That explains a few things.
How they're exactly the same.
Except one's in Western time and one's racist Indian.
Actually, the Green Hornet is like the great-great-grandson of the Lone Ranger. Like in the official canon.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Fucking hey, you didn't know that.
Like, let's be honest, the Green Hornet was the Kato movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I have a feeling this is going to be the Tonto movie.
Probably.
And
Although he looks like he does slightly more in this movie than Seth Rogen did in Green Hornet.
That was such a horrible fucking casting.
Yeah, I can't just fucking stand Seth Rogen. Yeah, I've said it a million times. I'm going to say it again. I don't care if you like him. But I still have to sit through this.
He's a very typecast actor.
He is.
This is not the cast he should have been typed in.
No.
Or type he should have been cast in is what I meant to
Not
say.
even remotely.
But, you know, same producer, Jerry Bruckheimer and stuff. You kind of know what to expect from the films that he produces.
Yeah. I'm still mad about
It doesn't look really stupid. It only looks kind of stupid.
I still get a disturbing Wild Wild West vibe that still really concerns me.
Hopefully, it's only as bad as the first Pirates of the Caribbean.
I like the first Pirates of the Caribbean.
I like it more than the others, but...
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Like I say, it was a masterpiece, but it was entertaining more so than the other ones.
So what was third?
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel. Every time I think, I'm getting kind of hyped for this, it says, from Zack Snyder, director of 300 and Watchmen. I'm like, fuck.
I think it looks pretty good. I mean, I like 300. I like Watchmen. I can tell from, like, seething... like, I can almost feel it emanating from you. Just a seething pile of rage built around Zack Snyder.
I had a really big Watchmen phase that I think everybody gets, but I'm really over it.
Fair enough.
But I always hated the film.
I like the film. Enough.
Well, with the film for Watchmen, when, spoiler alert for this 20-year-old comic you should have read by now. 30 years old, actually. When Ozymandias kills comedian. Yeah. Why are we whispering? Because just so some people who haven't read or seen it yet,
they probably should be watching this right now, should they?
Okay.
This is gonna be...
So,
we're gonna have subtitles.
When Ozymandias throws comedian into the door of his apartment is like 3007 or whatever, and he knocks off the last digit and then zooms up on 300, I was like, fuck you. And that's pretty much how I feel about Zack Snyder.
Fair enough.
I hate his action scenes. I think...
Well, at least one has a Superman punching something for a change instead of increasing the heavy objects like he did in the last one.
I actually kind of like Superman Returns.
I'm not a big fan of it, personally. I mean, I like Kevin Spacey as
It had
Lex
some really...
Luthor.
Yeah, no, that was great. It had some really, really stupid things that never should have made it in.
Run! Okay, continue.
That was great.
Thank you.
I still like the first two Superman films. I like.
Oh yeah, they're classics.
I don't know about that much. Superman 2, you need to watch the director's cut, because originally they had Richard Donner direct it, but then they got him off the project and they brought in this other guy who's like, basically was kind of Joel Schumachering it up.
Oh god. Is that where the S thing came from?
Yes, as a matter of fact it is.
How did I know?
And like he had like these really random comedic elements, but you watch the Richard Donner cut and it's like, oh, this is a whole lot better. Then everything else just kind of happens.
Yeah,
Supergirl happened.
Then you had Superman 3 and
Yeah.
Superman 4. Then Superman Returns.
Well, hopefully it's good.
I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, I'm a little worried I'm looking forward to it because I'm afraid it's gonna be really disappointed.
Yeah.
So I'm like
I know I'm gonna hate it, but I have this small amount of hope that maybe I'm wrong.
well, I'm probably gonna disagree on that one when that time comes. I have a strong feeling. I don't know. I'm just want to see Superman fucking punch something. It's like I've wanted since I was a kid. I've been teased on it for 10 years with Smallville. I just want to see him fucking punch something.
Well, you should watch the animated series for Superman.
Or in live action version. I mean, I watched JLU. I mean, I saw him punch Darkseid. That was fucking awesome.
That was amazing. No, one of the highlights of Justice League is the Captain Marvel and Superman fight.
Oh, that's fucking awesome
That's
fight.
a great episode. Or the episode with the Justice Lords.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
That was back before it was Justice League Unlimited, though, right?
Yeah. That was one of the original stories. So.
That was also one of the best ones for the Flash too, where he totally mind fucks alternate universe Batman.
Yeah. Fucking love that series.
Yeah.
By the way.
Oh, speaking of other DC characters, Man of Steel is going to be the first.
They're pretty much trying to do the Avengers shit now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're having a shared DC universe or DC cinematic universe like Marvel. So
yeah, which was inevitable. You kind of knew that was
the
gonna
next
happen.
Batman film's going to be in the same continuity, and they keep saying Wonder Woman.
But they haven't done shit with that for years.
All right, as much as I love Guardians of the Galaxy, I think that's one of the greatest Marvel series of all time. Mm-hmm. The fact that you have Rocket Raccoon in a major Hollywood blockbuster that's being billed as top billing before Wonder Woman or The Flash is pretty fucking sad on DC's part. Before Wonder Woman, before Flash, before Aquaman.
Well, it wouldn't be so bad if they didn't fuck up every other non-Batman, non-Superman movie that keeps coming out. I'm looking at you, Green Lantern. That movie still makes me mad. Like I remember the movie. I saw the movie in theaters opening night, and I just like as soon as it was over, a friend invited me. And then after it was over the whole Sinestro thing, then it was like, why?
Well,
like,
Sinestro was a Green Lantern.
Well, like I'm talking about the movie version.
Okay.
The movie version puts on the yellow rain for no fucking reason. I was like, there was no fucking reason for that. That was stupid as shit. And I love Green Lantern. He's one of my favorite characters. We're completely off topic at this point.
All right.
So,
well, I mean, it's better than talking about anything else.
So there's your little DC fanfare and rant at the same time. So yeah. I think we've said all we have to say about After Earth at this point. At this point, we're just kind of shooting the shit. Yeah. So
once this camera's turned off, we're going to be talking about who's the best Green Lantern.
That's going to be a good one. All right.
Yeah. All right.
On that note, I'm thinking we've got off now. So we'll see you all next week with either Internship or The Purge. Both are gonna suck, but I'm probably gonna go with The Purge because it looks slightly more interesting. And Much Ado About Nothing, which I'm actually looking forward to.
Ooh, so. Yeah. That's gonna be good.
So, well, see you all next week.
Hopefully.
Please, for the love of God.